Hello, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. And today I'm doing another Stocktober video, my menu plan. And I'm going to show you my veggies I received this week and what I'm going to do with those as part of my menu plan and my preservation plan. So I'm going to bring you along and I'll let you know how I did last week with my menu too. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Renee, and I like to do videos on canning and cooking and baking, and I love vintage recipes. I have a lot of family ones I love to share. So if that interests you, I would love to have you subscribe and come along with me at Pike Creek Farm. So let's get to looking at the veggies. Here are the items I got in this week's veggie box, and my goal is to use or preserve them all. So with my menu planning, I'm going to use them, and what I don't, I'm going to figure out how to preserve, whether it's freezing or canning. Probably more freezing because it's not a huge amount, but it's easy. Some things will stay, like the sweet potatoes, but we have beets, and I have some still from last week. Tomatoes, red pepper, potatoes, pumpkins. I'm going to be baking those for pie, and I'll probably bake my other squashes and freeze that puree because we enjoy that. Cucumbers, they'll get eaten. Garlic, I have more garlic, so I might need to chop some of it up and freeze it. Brussels sprouts and the onions, they last for quite a while too. So nice variety of items, and I'm going to take it all into account as I'm doing my menu planning and my preserving plan for the week. All part of Stocktober. Okay, for stocking it up, I am taking these tomatoes that I picked. There had been a frost, but so that it's not really tomatoes you want to can because the vines were dying and you don't know the acidity. So I'm just putting them in a bag, and I'll make homemade spaghetti sauce or something and pull them out later and make that and use it or freeze it. Here's the lima beans. I think they're last. I'm gonna go out and check one more time. I'm gonna shell those this afternoon. And here's some last peppers. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna half these, slice them, and get them in the freezer. Let me get the lighting better for the lima beans. See, the beans are in there. So we're going to have some for dinner tomorrow. This bowl is a good size bowl, but you only end up with a third. And then I will freeze the rest. So trying to preserve things without letting anything go to waste. I have some jalapenos and sweet peppers from the garden back here that I have fermenting. And those are really hot. So they should be ready anytime now. I need to check on them. It's been 3 weeks. Now I can plan my menu. I took stock of what's in the freezer and what fresh produce I have, and if there's anything I need to buy, and some obligations I have for this week. So this is last week's, and the things that I didn't eat, didn't make, didn't follow. Tuesday I was going to do the creamy chicken soup and take it to my daughter-in-law's sister who's up here recovering from having a baby, and she's going to be here for a while. Well, I didn't because we had a neighbor pass away who was 52 years old and has young children, and family came from out of state, so I made a pasta dish and homemade bread and took down to them so they would have dinner. So that's what we had for dinner too. I just took some out and put in a little dish for us. So I did not make the creamy chicken dumpling soup, but I used what I had in the house to make that, take to the family. I had to go buy foil pans. I didn't have any of them. And, they're not as cheap as they used to be, but they're convenient when you're taking food to someone under that circumstance. The other thing I didn't make was the ham, because it wasn't thawed out yet. So I'll bring that up later. And then on Friday, I didn't do the homemade pizza because we had leftovers. No, Friday I ended up doing just burgers. We had someone stop in and I was going to do Sloppy Joe's yesterday and I switched it to venison burgers on Friday and we had leftovers yesterday. So that means for this week that ham is thawed out. So it's cooking now in the crock pot and I'm going to roast some potatoes and carrots, potatoes from my veggie box. And I'm going to shell my lima beans, and we're going to have that with some gravy, and I might make Yorkshire pudding. I guess everyone call them popovers, but my mom and my grandma always called them Yorkshire pudding, where they're like in the muffin size. And they're so good with roast potatoes and gravy and roast meat. So that is for today. And then there'll be plenty left over for tomorrow for us. So we will have leftovers tomorrow, and if I need to add a different vegetable or something or a salad, I can do that. Slice up a tomato. So that is Monday. Tuesday, I'm part of a meal train to take a meal to a family that lost their daughter, 14-year-old daughter. And it is quite the tragic situation in our community. So a relative messaged me in the meal train and asked if I would help. So I am. So I'm going to do chicken and rice because they had certain things you could and couldn't make or their likes. So I'm trying to, accommodate that. So I'm going to do chicken breast and rice with the sauce and take a salad. And then I'll do the same for us. I'm not cooking 2 meals. No. So when I bought the foil pans for last week, there's 2. So I have the foil pan already. Yeah. Wednesday, I'm going to have venison steak. I'm going to marinate back straps, some of the fresh sweet potatoes, and a salad and beets. I'm going to cook up some of the beets. So that's Wednesday. And usually there's not leftovers. If we have steak, I don't cook that much where there's leftovers for that. So Thursday, I work Thursday all day. So I'm going to do a quick meal. It's like a 30-minute meal. It's using ground venison. It's Korean ground venison and rice. And usually I would do broccoli with it, but I'm going to do Brussels sprouts. And maybe some carrots because Jim's not a fan of the Brussels sprouts. But I could do some ginger carrots or add carrots in with that's what I'll do. I'll slice up some carrots and add it with the ground meat. So I'll have the Asian sweet spicy barbecue sauce on it that I'll be making. And Jim loves rice bowls. Friday, I'm like in a quandary, but I was thinking pizza, but I have to work all day. So it's like 2 days in a row, isn't it? So I don't know if I want to make pizza dough and all that, but I do have a taco kit in the pantry that I should use. So we will probably have tacos, and I have refried beans. And so we'll have that tomorrow for Friday. And one night of tacos is usually enough for Jim, but then I make the leftovers into taco salads for a couple of days, and I am happy as anything. So then Saturday, I'm going to take the ham bone from today, and I'm going to make split pea soup. And I'll use some more of the potatoes and a little bit of carrots in it, and some of the onion and the garlic, and I have some biscuits in the fridge. I might have those as a side. A lot of times I do cornbread, but I might do the biscuits instead since they should be used. So that is this week. And when I do the split pea soup, there's leftovers, so I probably won't have to cook Sunday. That's always a good thing. I like when I don't have to cook. And then I should get another veggie box next week, so we'll see what I can preserve. I'm really happy. I ended up with, I did the pumpkin. I roasted 2 pumpkins. I made a pumpkin pie and froze enough for another pie. I roasted all the butternut and buttercup squash and scooped them out, and I forget, it's either 3 or 4 packages that I froze. So that's all seasoned and just ready to open up and heat. So they'll be nice for even like Thanksgiving or whatever. It'll be nice to have that done. And my goal is just to keep on top of all these things. I do have things I need to pick up for canning. I need to do carrots and I need to do potatoes. Those things I need to do. I still have some herb seasoned potatoes, but no plain potatoes and carrots. I maybe have like 7 jars downstairs. So I'm going to do some more carrots. And what I do is I have my husband go get a bag of deer carrots. In Michigan, that's a thing. And they're like less than $10 for a big bag. And so I can what I want, and then he puts the rest out for the deer. So it works out well. They're not pretty carrots, but it doesn't matter once I peel them and slice them up. So that's the menu for the week. Here's a picture of the pumpkin pie. It's pretty good. I don't often make pumpkin pie from scratch like that. And so it was a nice treat. So that's week 2 of during Stocktober, of doing my menu planning and using what I have that needs to be turned through my, stock, and also preserving, my fresh stuff. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you next time at Pike Creek Farm.